Yo, what's up? My name is Sprixie. I've been playing Overwatch since 2017. I started off on the PlayStation and then moved my way into PC during 2018. And I'm going to talk about how the game that I once loved to play every day and grind and put hours into has turned into something that I can only sit down and play for maybe 2 hours until I'm done. But let's get into it. I guess to start, we'll go over my credentials. By no means am I a professional player, but during Season 24 of Overwatch 1, I peaked at rank 8, playing primarily Doomfist and Hanzo as well as other projectile characters. With that being said, I have also played in the Open Division tournament brackets and won recently during Season 2 of Overwatch 2. Since Season 20 of Overwatch 1, I have been 4-2 mid to high GM ever since then. Now, with that out of the way, we can get into the fun stuff. The reasons that I personally believe Overwatch 2 is a complete and utter step down and disappointment from the game that I loved to play growing up, and what I think about it now. I'm going to go ahead and get the big thing out of the way first, which is the format of Overwatch 2, meaning 5 versus 5 instead of 6 versus 6 like the original game in Overwatch 1. What do I personally think about 5 versus 5? It fucking sucks. And the reason I believe 5v5 is horrible is going to probably amaze you people because I play DPS. I miss having 2 tanks in the game. Now, this probably sets off a bunch of alarms. You're thinking of double shield, all this other crazy stuff, but I'm going to break it down really simple for people who either haven't played Overwatch 1 or just refuse to hear other people's takes. Most people think of double shield when it comes to 6 versus 6, meaning they're 2 tanks. But as a lot of people have pointed out, including Iron, Samito, a bunch of other people, the double shield meta was not something that the format, now let me make that clear, format means 6 versus 6. It was not a format issue. The issue of double shield was something that could have been easily fixed with balance, but it just never happened. And the reason double shield was so strong in the first place was not even the shields particularly. It was the immortality and AoE and sustainabilities from characters like Baptiste that enabled comps like that and made it extremely frustrating to pierce through and kill the people who were running it. For me personally, since I did play a lot of Doomfist, I actually ignored the shields, and I could boot Baptiste out of immortality with Doomfist Uppercut when he was a DPS. But if I was not playing Doomfist and forcing them to swap to a counter, like Cassidy with his old flashbang, it was horrible. But aside from the double shield meta, I don't know if you guys know this or not, tanks could die. Zarya had like 400 HP. Sig had like 400 HP. That's like... Nowadays, you have to throw every ability, every shot, every CC, everything into a tank just to kill them in one fight. Imagine you're playing DPS Doom and you hit a Sigma with a punch and an uppercut and he dies today. That is crazy to think about, but it's how it used to be. And a lot of people argue that in 5v5's world, DPS actually has more agency. They're able to do more. They're able to take more kills. I counter that by saying, imagine you're playing 6v6 and instead of getting a pick on a Tracer that can come back extremely fast, you get a pick on a Sigma, because the Sigma can actually die. Sigma is a bit weird because he does have extreme override abilities in his kit, such as grass, shield, rock, stuff like that, but he could still die. That's the point I'm trying to make. You're probably thinking to yourself, well, Sprixie, you still can kill the tanks. And I would say, yeah, but you have to pour so much more effort, so much more damage, so many more abilities. Everything has to be put into it just to kill them one time. On top of all this, a lot, and I mean a lot of playstyles were cut from the tank players on multiple different characters. Roadhog can no longer flank. He can't one-shot anymore. Wrecking Ball, he can't disrupt anymore. Well, he can, but if he does disrupt, he's going to get every single ability thrown into him at once, and it's going to be horrible for the player. Another thing you're probably asking yourself, well, Roadhog could one-shot, so that has to be overpowered. No! I don't know if anyone here has not played Overwatch 1. Roadhog's vape, his E, which heals himself, could be cancelled extremely easily. Roadhog also has a huge hitbox, meaning he's extremely easy to shoot, and his health pool was lower in Overwatch 1. I believe it was 600 HP. I could be wrong. But the point is, the character was way, way easier to punish, but he was also way more rewarding based on the individual skill playing the character, instead of the game choosing for you if you can kill him or not. And I'm just going to come out and say it. I play DPS primarily, but shit. Even I miss tank synergy gameplay. It was so much fun hopping on a master's account and playing Reinhardt, just in random lobbies, because the character excelled so much in the tank neutral fights, and you actually had to use your brain, and you could be punished for if you misused charge. You had to really think about what you were doing. And you just felt like you had more player agency to go and do things now. When you play tank in 5v5, you walk up to a choke, I mean, you're getting hit with fucking everything, right? Unless one of your DPS goes in and feeds and gets out cooldowns. 6v6, yes, you still get hit with the majority of cooldowns on tank, but you have another tank to also soak up the cooldowns. You gotta remember, there's still only 2 healers and 2 DPS. There's not 3 of each, it's still just 2. And with the way tank is going now, every tank seems to be getting one-dimensional, way more generalist, like they all do the same thing. I don't ever want Reinhardt to feel similar to play to Roadhog, because they were not designed that way, and they should never be comparable to each other. For instance, I'm going to throw up a quick clip right now of me playing Roadhog into a Reinhardt, which seems like a weird matchup, but trust me, what you are about to see happens almost every game, every time when you play tank in 5v5.
Nah, not a big fan. Yeah.
Cool. Now, I want you to just close your eyes for 2 seconds and imagine if I had another tank with me there. A Diva, a Reinhardt, shit, a Winston, anything to help absorb abilities like that, instead of me tanking everything, dying, and I think we still lost the fight. Isn't that not insane? Don't even get me started on the counter swaps. Counter swapping is the most aggravating thing ever, and it gets worse and worse the higher in rank you go. There have been multiple clips, like Flats when Samito is reacting, where they just sit and spawn and go back and forth on the same character. That is not a problem with balance. It cannot be fixed with balance. You could give fucking Roadhog fucking Flight or Risa Flight or whatever. She's still going to get countered by something, and even if she doesn't get countered, then it's just going to be a mirror every game. So then you're stuck in this loop, and the only way to fix it is to go back to 6v6. There is no way in the current format tank is ever going to feel nearly as good as it did in 6v6, simply because there is only one tank. It doesn't matter how much you balance the game, it will never be fixed, and people need to understand that. And all of the reworks that are happening to original cast members, like Reinhardt, I'm assuming, it hasn't happened yet, but if they rework Reinhardt, that, in my opinion, is the death of Overwatch. The character was designed perfectly for the game he was put into, and then he got put into another game, a completely different game, and he's useless now. We should not be changing original cast characters just because the team refuses to look back at a better game they made and they could have maintained, but they just refuse to do it. Off the topic of tanks real quick, I also think Overwatch 2 feels way more like a COD team deathmatch shooter game than a team-based FPS game. It really just doesn't anymore. Except sometimes in high elo you get the occasional combo of an ult with an ult, but I miss grabbing something and me on Reinhardt swinging into a grab and shattering their whole fucking team inside the thing. That doesn't happen anymore. You just run around on Sojourn, you shoot Roadhog on the other team, you get rail, and you click someone. For maybe a week it's fun, but there's no team play anymore. Hardly at all. And it just makes it way more frustrating. They've also managed to baby the game down. What do I mean by that? you don't get punished for fucking up not nearly as much as you did in Overwatch 1. There's a reason that people who were plat in Overwatch 1 were hitting GM on support at the start of Overwatch 2, and I bet it still happens now because support is inherently an insane role. But that never happened in Overwatch 1. You want to know why? Because you got punished for when you did the wrong thing in Overwatch 1. Opening the game up to a broader audience is something that should always be accepted because you want people to come in and enjoy your product, right? But then you have to also think about this is a competitive first-person shooter game, and the integrity of the game we are making is slipping day by day, patch by patch. One final thing before I do end up closing this. Why are things like player borders, being able to see your rank, stuff like that, why is that gone? I know they said it was for people getting harassed or stuff like that. Did it not feel rewarding to get silver border? Did it not feel rewarding to rank up and then go into the next lobby and see your new rank in the bottom left corner? Like, why? Why is stuff like this gone? Why are private profiles in the game? I don't understand this stuff. It makes no sense to me. It never has, and it probably never will. One more thing. Supports. They're a bit better now with the Season 9 changes. They're still insane. Why does Kiriko have immortality on her E? Why does Lamp still give you immortality? I don't understand. Pro player Hawk put it best, and I'm going to leave you guys with this to think about. In 5v5, there's one right decision to be made while playing tank, and 10 wrong ones. Thank you guys for watching. Maybe more content like this will come out soon, rant style videos, but thank you. Peace.